1. Money management gives you the security of knowing that you have the resources to deal with unexpected expenses. 2. You can use your savings to take advantage of investment opportunities. 3. Money management can reduce stress and conflicts. Learning how to manage your finances can relieve the pressure of not paying on time and allow you to enjoy life. Data from the OECD study shows a correlation between students' math skills and their performance in financial literacy. In most countries, students who performed well at math had even higher financial literacy scores. To increase financial literacy, standardized tests should have more math questions with a practical personal finance application. Regain common sense focus. Raise math standards, the thinking skills should also be more current and complex. First, you should set clear financial goals. Second, organize your finances. Third, understand how to budget money. Fourth, learn how to live within your means. Fifth, pay your debts. And lastly, save your money regularly. Not long ago, purchasing stock was not as easy as it is now. Personally, I think I would be a good financial manager because of the resources I had this college. The topics in consumer mathematics and finance also helped me learn basic financial concepts that can help me manage my own money in the future. Personally, I want to invest in stock market. You earn a lot when you get good stocks during the initial public offering that ultimately rise in price after. In the long run, stocks may outperform bonds in terms of yield. The only con of stock market is returns are not guaranteed. So I will only invest what I can afford to lose, and I will hold my stock investment for the long term to ride out market price fluctuations. Understanding basic financial concepts is not hard to understand, especially when you had business mathematics in your senior high school curriculum. The math barely rises above arithmetic level. Sufficient knowledge is required in concerning overarching concepts and also terminology, financial relationships, and basic financial formulas.
In today's society, people all have conflicting views and opinions. Everyone has their own perspective towards everything. The social choice theory is the key for everyone to meet halfway. It helps us maximize all our options and gives the most beneficial option for all the people. Mathematics is a wide field of knowledge which doesn't solely focus on equations or formulas. It also focuses on analytical concepts. Game theory is a type of analytical concept which yields the best strategy to give the best payoff in multiple situations. Statistics can be used in decision making by statistically weighing our options by the use of numerical values so that we can get the best quantitative answer. The lessons weren't really that hard, even though some concepts may be complicated, but for me it was quite easy because I found the lessons very interesting. Because of my interest in the lessons, I was fueled with desire to be able to work hard so I can easily understand it. Voting is an effective way of decision making in groups because voting is the process for getting the option that benefits most of the people. And for me, a fair voting system where there is no bias on all the options and each voter has equal amount of effect on the voting system. Yes, because in choosing decisions for a group, quantitative method should be applied. This means a voting system should be implemented. And a way to be able to express the voting system is to numerically and statistically analyze it. The term games used in the lessons is wherein multiple players or multiple people make the best moves in order to yield the best payoff in different scenarios, whether it be real-life scenarios or any gaming scenario. Gaming theory is a good tool to make decisions because it helps us lay out all the possible outcomes and payoffs for each situation. An example where gaming theory can be applied is when two individuals would choose what activity they would do for the day. They can both list down their preferences and their reactions to each activity so that they can decide which activity will benefit them most and affect them the least in a negative way.
The world is increasingly digital, and mathematics has a relevant part in digital computation and communication. The technology that surrounds us processes information by changing bits of a sequence of bits. We can recall that the smallest unit of information is the binary digit, the bit.
Essentially, coding theory is associated with error-correcting codes, while cryptography is concerned with privacy, confidentiality, and security of communication over an insecure channel. In communication and information processing, the use of codes serves as a system of rules to convert information into another form for communication or storage. The process of encoding converts information from a source into symbols. Decoding is a reverse process, converting code symbols back into a form that the recipient understands. Sending messages through a noisy channel may result to a wrong transmission of data or disruptions. Error-correcting codes work best in this process as it concerns with improving the reliability of communications over this noisy channel. All real systems that work with digitally represented data such as CVs, satellites, internet, mobile, require the use of error-correcting codes because all real channels experience noise interference. Coding theory develops methods to protect information against this noise. Encryption is important because it allows you to protect data so that only the authorized parties can have access to it. Decryption takes the encrypted data and converts it to a text that is understandable to one's own language.
We need to mainly consider how easy or difficult it would be for an attacker to get the key and decrypt all the messages in a crypto system. An asymmetrical system is better since getting the key is much harder. For example, I would use Caesar cipher with a shift of 3 so A becomes D, B becomes E, C becomes F, and so on. This encrypted message is then sent to my friend Bob. Bob will have to decrypt it using the same pattern. Cryptography is the basis for data encryption. That is, we can use cryptography methods to keep information private, such as documents, passwords, or messages in our communication device. Cryptography is what prevents criminals from stealing our information online. Coding theory and cryptography methods are often elegant applications of very basic concepts of abstract algebra. The details of techniques used to protect information against noise in practice are sometimes rather complicated, but basic principles are easily understood.
Mathematics is a tool since it allows us to have a defined process. Having this procedure saves time by preventing unnecessary steps and by guaranteeing an optimal solution.
Engineering demands optimization on a large scale. This optimization can be done in a linear program. Also, efficiently dividing resources among plants or among equipment is possible to be expressed as a transportation or as an assignment problem.
Distress algorithm and unguided method, and with correct judgment, it is easy to follow the determined steps and be sure to reach the best solution. The northwest corner rule is very easy, but the stepping stone method that completes it is interesting yet takes time to be fully understood.
Method is efficient if it no longer reevaluates solutions which have already been eliminated.
This is seen in distress algorithm where if an optimal value is already assigned to a vertex, the worst values there are completely ignored when optimizing another.
For an everyday example, we can write linear programs for budgeting our daily expenses. We can write inequalities for the maximum amount we can spend in a day, or we can even write inequalities for the payoff or utility for each item, and the minimum payoff we want to achieve in a day.
The shortest path problem is about efficiently looking through the different routes between places and finding the optimal one in terms of time, cost, or distance. The transportation problem is about efficiently finding the optimal way in terms of cost to split resources from areas with supply to satisfy areas with demand. The assignment problem is about efficiently finding the optimal task in terms of time or cost for each person so that everyone has an assignment.
The Fibonacci sequence is a set of numbers that start with 1 and 1. To obtain the next number in the sequence, you have to add the two numbers before it. This is important because the ratio of two consecutive Fibonacci numbers approaches the golden ratio.
Mathematics can be seen in nature through the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, and fractals. For example, the number of seeds a sunflower packs on its head and the number of stems in sneezewort is based on the Fibonacci sequence. Although not easily seen in nature, the golden ratio is widely used in art in the form of paintings like the Mona Lisa, the advertisements to make their brands aesthetically pleasing.
Fractals, on the other hand, is known mathematically as a self-repeating figure with a decimal dimension, can also be seen in the form of the spread of the tree branches, snowflakes, and ferns.
Furthermore, fractals can also be seen in nature in the form of trees and how their branches grow and how snowflakes form. The most important application of fractal geometry lies in communication. For example, engineers use Lipinski carpet and fractal antennas to amplify the capabilities of a cell phone or a mobile device to get signals from the internet like Wi-Fi and cell signals.
At first, the concept of Fibonacci sequences, golden ratios, and fractals might be difficult to understand. But with proper examples and do-it-your-own exercises, this concept is one of the most enjoyable and creative ways to express math, especially in the modern world.